Hey everybody, welcome to another Stone Face Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with another episode of Macross 7, episode 33 to be exact. But before that, how about you go ahead and tell us what happened last time?
Episode 32, Jamming Birds. The
Bobby!
military is sorry. The military under Colonel, what's his name? Okay, it's Colonel Barton is trying to expand the Project M, which is the project in which YF-19 was built with all the speakers and everything else. And they're trying to recruit other people to join what's called Sound Force with their own YF-19s. But and they ask Basara to help them decide, who should be part of Sound Force. Basara, being Basara, doesn't want to cooperate and basically says, "I don't care." The military goes ahead anyway, and essentially has a mini bikini pageant. Yeah, that's to show who should be in it. And there's Dr. Chiba has his long explanation about lung capacity and height, and no, it's fan service. It's just we want to see this, especially the girls from behind in their bikini. Ooh, look how cute they are, and we also get to see Melia as well. Because she's still rocking that hot and trotty body, I guess. And while Basara goes off to try to wake up Sybil again, right? And and sorry, and oh god, let's do them.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just a long recunning course thing of him trying to wake up
Yeah,
Sybil. She's opened her eyes
yeah, and
twice now.
yeah, and but doesn't seem to do more than that. And of course, the enemy attacks as they do, but this time is the pint-sized enemy in the mix, and they send Sound Force because Basara is nowhere to be found because he's doing the Sybil thing. It doesn't work because they're not properly trained and they panic under fire,
Oh,
etc.,
well,
etc.
no. Sorry. You said they sent Sound Force. They sent Sound Force and
Jamming the
Jamming
jamming
birds,
bird,
yeah. The jamming
jamming
birds
bird,
don't work because they're too afraid.
and because of the hindsight monstrosity, what's his name? Gabble,
Why do you call him pint size? He's like the same size as everybody else.
Gabble. No, I think he's actually shorter, or he looks more like a child.
We
He's more
see him
childlike.
next. The only person we've seen him next to that I can recall is Gepernick, and Gepernick is really tall because we've seen him next to Giggle, and Giggle we know is bigger than Basara. By the way, if we can do this, Basara is actually pretty tall. Giggle's
Yes.
taller than Basara. Giggle is about the same size as Gabble, who is
Uh-huh.
both of them are shorter than Lord Gepernick.
Hmm.
I think Basara is taller than Ray, but shorter than Vafidus.
Yeah. I
Right.
mean, he does have those big hair as well, so I guess that helps.
I'm just saying that if you put that in that scale, then Gabble is actually pretty tall.
Yeah.
I mean, probably about
Oh,
the same size as Basara.
yeah. Gabble, like I was saying, Gabble activates his counter jamming technology and actually is able to because to re-enslave the soldiers that he was controlling until finally Basara shows up and sings and blasts everybody with red energy, right? And the soldiers basically are like, "Oh, I don't want to fight anymore," and they just flee, right? And so I guess they rejoin the Macross, right? And so Gabble just blast offs again, and that's the episode.
Not part of my notes, but I just want to bring up the fact that we something we talked about before. And I'm just remembering that I didn't write down my notes when I was going over episode before last. That Gabble does seem to have the same powers as Civil, because his ship fighter Valkyrie thing gets destroyed 2 episodes ago.
And turns into ball of light and leaves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and then flies away, which is basically Civil's power to fly through shit. So I'm thinking that he must be whatever their new mind control tech must require him to be in that thing because we see him with, like tubes in his ears and all that shit, and we
yeah,
know
he's
that's
wired into it.
not
Yeah,
required to fly the thing. So But yeah, if that was all you got, then head over to
And
the.
no, wait, there's more because during the this whole thing, um, Basara is frustrated and even angry. In fact, he gets very angry. That's what really, powers his song. And Ray keeps telling him, "You got to figure it out. Why are you singing?" Right? Which is again, we're in episode. What episode are we? Episode 30,
3.
32.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
we're gonna
last
go to
one.
33, but last 32. And I'm like, it's a little late for that, isn't it, Ray? You could have figured it out like in episode 10 or something. If that had been like, it just feels like,
I
oh,
don't.
now we're gonna give Basara some kind of arc, maybe.
I'm thinking the show is saying it doesn't matter why he's singing, but
Yeah.
knowing why he's singing might help him now. Because Ray is like, I don't know what his backstory is, and we know that Ray has gone on this whole Project M thing ever
Mhm.
since his best buddy from Dick Force or whatever the hell it was called. Um, I mean, and it's not joking. It's something like that, like
Yeah,
Pink
yeah,
Pecker. Is that what it was? Pink Pecker
yeah,
Force
something like that. Pecker Force or
Squadron,
something
Pink
like that.
Pecker Squadron, something like that.
Yes.
Ever since his best buddy from that died, he's been about this thing. So he clearly picked somebody who could accomplish the task without caring what their background was. So it seems to me the implication is more I needed a gun. I didn't care where it came from. Now it turns out it's like Hitler's gun. I just so
Evil bullets and all that. Yeah.
well I don't know. I can't remember this that movie where the guy keeps looping through time, and when he finally beats one of the women that's like been shooting him every time, it turns out it's Hitler's gun that she's been shooting him with, and it's just like, why? I mean, that's I think his reaction is why.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just mean that's my point is that he needed a thing. He found it in Basara. It didn't matter why Basara sang. It mattered that Basara's singing did a thing. So now we're at the part of the story where, well, now if you know what your motivation is, it'll affect your song and it'll move us through the story better.
Yeah, I mean that's one reading of it, but it kind of feels again. It feels like in any other story, this is something that you would have picked up much earlier to figure out who Basara is. But again, the writers don't care. Basara's a one note character, so it doesn't
Well,
really
that's
matter.
what I'm saying is I don't think it was meant to
Yeah,
be important to the story.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like you're saying, in a normal story, it would have been the first thing, right? And in a normal story, sure, we would have gone through like Basara lost something, but then he started singing, and singing helped him deal with his feelings, and then he found out that those feelings came out through the song, and then helped him deal with a situation that made him lose the thing in the first place, thus establishing the character of Basara. But the story writers are thinking, no, all we need is a mysterious character that has a power, and we're going to deal with that from the perspective of the bad guys, who are then going to focus their attention on this guy, and we're going to slowly develop his character that way, while at the same time harassing everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just doing uh, I don't know what to say. They're doing a twist. They're trying to do a twist. They're subverting expectations and storytelling.
Yeah, but here's the thing about storytelling and writing in general. You gotta know the rules, master the rules before you break the rules. And I don't feel that they have the mastery of the rules to break the rules.
Or
Like, oh, we're gonna go,
conversely,
oh, we're going for the twist. And what's if you don't understand why the twist works and why it's important and useful, then the twist is meaningless. Like, there's nothing there, really. It's like, oh, the twist is that there's nothing there. Oh, okay,
I mean, I would
cool,
argue
I
that you
guess.
don't have to master the rules to break the rules. I mean, plenty of Silicon Valley millionaires out there who just dropped out of school and got rich. Not the exception to the rule, of course. I'm just saying it's not 100% needed all the time. It requires more so that there be a point to what you're doing. If you're doing it just to twist with no point, then there's no point. at the end of the at the end of the slide, we all fall into the shit pit because We connected our household. Sorry, I'm just going through memories of childhood. Anyway,
Ooh, wow. Okay. Sorry about that.
I guess you never had the same punishments I did, or
Some punishments.
or
I did
lived
have
in a
some
house with
punishments.
no septic tank that just
That I didn't.
drained
I
into a
that I
hole
didn't.
and behind the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
No. That part.
take this
No.
small shovel and empty out the septic
Yeah.
tank hole into this ditch over here.
Yeah. I know what a septic tank is. I used it. It's okay until it breaks, and then it's all hell. Well, no, it doesn't break.
Well,
A
I
lot of
think
things can go wrong with a septic tank, but
s-
yeah.
let's say I've never had a place where the septic tank broke or leaked or whatever they typically do.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah. They can
had this
leak.
situation where one place just didn't have one, and every time someone flushed or took a shower or something, you just stand there and look down at the hole from all the water where everything, or everything emptied out in, and just watch it all go.
Yeah.
It's great to
But
live in
on
a trailer park.
punishments, yeah. Okay. It's in punishment wise, well, yeah. Let's say that I'm very familiar with the chancla, and I'll leave it at that for
Yeah,
people
I
who
don't
know
know
what I'm
that
talking
word,
about.
but previously I already discussed with you the whole cutting your own switch. So,
Yeah. I
um,
can understand it. Yeah.
but yeah, going to the board. I have decided that people that have been nameless for the last 33 episodes, I'm done waiting for their names, so they've been named on the board. It's not super important now that they don't have names. So,
Can some of them.
Sally St. Ford has a name. Somewhere on here, oh, here she is. Miho Miho has a name.
Cheetos, Cheetos Ripple. That sounds like somebody took a snack commercial and were like, let's put a character to it.
Well, the way you're saying it, yeah, sure. It's Cheetos Ripple. You know,
Yeah.
so they made a potato chip out of a Cheeto. Like wavy potato chips. This is the Ripple version of a Cheeto. Kim St. Laurent is that woman that stands behind Dr. Chiba all the time. And she's actually part of the bridge crew, but it looks like she's been made to be Dr. Chiba's assistant. So, like, when Dr. Chiba's singing a song, she's singing behind him. Obviously, Cheetos, as you just mentioned, is in the chamber
Yes, jamming birds. Yeah.
jamming birds with Bobby. By the way, Bobby's last name is Lacoste or something like that.
Isn't that like a shirt company?
I don't know.
One, the ones with the crocodile on the embroidery.
I have been to a number of Wings and Eagles on the beach before, and I don't remember that one.
I think it's a polished polo shirt company. Let me see.
Nah. Also, I've added the Dr. Chiba's full name, which is Gadget M. Chiba. Otherwise, we got Colonel Barton down here, who I've tied into the military group with this really long green line. Probably problem is that I hate crossing green lines over each other, and I really have only given myself two chances to do so with my off green and green. So I kind of had to pull him up on the outside. So I have tied him to the military, and of course connected him to the line for Sound Force because he's kind of in command of them.
I like that Colonel Barton looks like he's an immigrant from a American Saturday morning cartoon. The commanding officer of whatever force is going to fight the aliens, kind of thing.
Well,
I mean, he's very much an anime character, but at first look, he looks like somebody who was taken from, I don't know, Galaxy Rangers or something, and just put in this
well,
place.
remember that he comes all the way from Space War One himself. He mentioned that
Yeah.
I think last episode,
Yeah.
which implies that he was a part of the more um,
Conservative,
multinational
multinational.
organization. Well, I mean, like
Yeah.
when we saw you and Spacey back at Alaska base, right?
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
had assumed that this guy might have been like an ensign back at Alaska base or something. It's either
Probably.
that or he was on the command council of the Macross, SDF Macross. We just never saw him.
Or it could have been like a junior officer on the Macross, right?
I don't know. I just assumed that he would have been lower ranked 30, 40 years, 20
Yeah,
something years
that's
ago.
what I meant. A junior officer, like an ensign or something.
Oh, what? Sorry, I forgot. We covered this a lot during Gundam Seed because we got a bunch of kids that got made By the way, this is
Yeah,
something
officers.
I do during all of my recordings with Justin. Is I talk about Macross a lot, so this just feels fair to bring up other shows. It's cross promotion. No, yeah, they get given ranks and everything. And one of the times, Bad Girl, by the way, it's a character named Bad Girl in Gundam Seed, goes, "Don't talk to a superior officer that way," because you got like a guy who's like a lieutenant something, I can't remember, calling Kira kid. It's like, when did Kira become a higher rank? And they figure out Kira is an ensign, which makes him an officer, and the other guy is enlisted. So it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Janet Johnson, who, sister of Michael Johnson, distant cousin to
That
Magic Johnson. I
Magic
think
Mike.
I tied her to Basara as well because by the end of the episode, they are allied to one another. She basically gives up
Yeah.
her job not to report on him. Also, we got Valgo, our new Proto Devlin. By the way, entered my head. Uh, Birdman, Proto Devlin.
I don't see it.
I mean, he's Birdman was basically mystical if you think about it. The only thing he's done that the Proto Devlins haven't done yet is time travel. Remember, Birdman can travel in space and time. However, Dr. Chiba says that Sound Force can also do space-time transportation. So who the fuck knows? What else? I think that's everything other than the fact that I've finally tied almost all of our Proto Devlins together with a green line,
Yep.
except for Giggle and Civil, whose allegiances aren't exactly known just yet. Although I am now realizing I'm gonna have to fix this later because I've got a regular colored green line crossing another one, which is not to say that Gabble is allied to Dead Steven over here. That's why I said I have a hard time. I didn't see this. Must have been one of my 2 a.m. edits. Anything else on the ever expanding Macross 7 board?
It's getting a bit confusing, but
I mean, it's not
overall,
confusing. You could just you look at the lines and you know what it is. Like if you look over here, Kiko has this green line tying her to Ray Lovelock, and it's like, oh, that's easy to understand. They're allies. There's no, if you remember what happened, you can think of what the green lines mean.
I don't know.
Uh, Shit, something just came to my mind and I can't remember. Like it just came and left while I was talking, as though there was something I wanted to bring up here and I can't remember what it was. Well. Either way, I do have some thoughts to go over here. Project M was based on the fact that Minmay was able to stop a war with her singing, as they said in the opening of the episode that they bring it up. Except that she didn't. Her singing certainly helped the war effort and caused a large number of Zentradi to join the human side due to how culture affected them. But at the end of the day, her singing was just a means to confuse and distract Zentradi forces during the final battle of Space War 1. She didn't stop the war any more than saying, "Hey, look over there!" stops a fight.
But
Converse.
that's exact. Conversely, that's what exactly what Colonel Barton
Whoa, whoa,
says
whoa, whoa,
that he
whoa! Stop,
wants.
stop,
He
stop!
wants.
You want to know what my next 3 words were going to be?
Go ahead.
Conversely, Colonel Barton. Yeah, yeah. Conversely, Colonel Barton wanting to use Sound Force as a distraction for the enemy, while the military then comes around to eliminate them, is more true to form of what actually happened in Space War 1. I feel like Basara and Dr. Chiba are living in an idealized dream of what happened and trying to make it reality, regardless of Dr. Chiba's pseudoscience, while everyone else is living in the real world and treating it logically. Sorry, I just thought it was real funny that you started to interrupt me to say exactly what was in my script.
Yeah, well,
Well,
I
yeah,
already did.
but no, I just thought, like, again, it was your exact words were what I'd written down. So, I mean,
I mean, that's kind of always been the situation from the very beginning, in a way, where everybody's like, "Oh, the enemy's attacking. We got to defend ourselves. Oh, they're killing our people and stealing their souls or whatever." let's defeat them. And Basara's like, no, I'm just gonna sing.
Well, that's
I'm
what I
just,
mean, is
gonna
that
go out there.
they're
Yeah,
living in a world where, see, my problem is I want to say we're a world where the movie was shown to them and they thought it was real, but the thing is the movie doesn't even show Min May stopping the, like, no one's like, it's not Bill and Ted's last movie where
yeah,
literally they sing the world into peace and stop everything.
yeah, yeah.
Uh Min May has no power. That's why Basara beats her in the poll, right? So, well, I mean, I think the poll was who was the best or most powerful or whatever. So, she has no power. Like I said, we could have shown them porn and won. We could have shown them anything. Well, I mean, literally, their next step after singing was, hey, why don't you and Kaifun kiss while we do this? And it's like,
Yeah.
we're just moving closer. Thank God we beat the Centrati before we had to weaponize porn. Although, I can't imagine the hentai, which is basically SDF Macross, but everyone's naked all the time just to really confuse everybody.
Mhm.
They won't invade us if we have to attack us and see us naked.
Oh no, the problem is they're naked people.
Heck, they got thrown by Minmay in a bathing suit. Imagine Minmay with nothing. Stop doing that. What are you, pervert? Stop. Anyway, I'm just saying. There's gotta be one out there. Uh,
Oh, I mean, Rule 34, definitely.
yeah, and with enough time. Just a thought, but it seems like Proto Devlin are about one thing each. Giggle is about fear, Gabble is about beauty, Geppernick is about dreams. Grabble can't talk, so I don't know what he's about. Civil is maybe about love.
Or lust.
I don't know. The thing is that Giggle kind of seems like he's fallen in love with Civil, or had at some point. So if the whole Basara Civil relationship kind of devolves into a love thing, then it might just
Yeah.
be that Civil both searches for or inspires love in certain people. I think I've meant to bring all this up because Gabble is constantly talking about beauty. It's the beauty of technology. It's the beauty of innovation. It's the beauty of destruction. Gabble says everything is beautiful. Giggle was kind of the same way about fear and terror. So it's just like they all seem to have extensions. Skippernick is constantly talking about dreams, and their special move was about a nightmare. So it could be that they are like that. I guess the only also concept about that is that the Proto Devlins are just basically New Centrati.
Yeah, I
They
guess.
come in small and large forms. They are the enemy
Yeah.
right now. They are affected by a certain part of something that's natural to us, singing. So, let's see. This isn't so much of a thought, just more of a comment. Their hearts touched the Proto Devlin still seems like nonsense.
I mean, they touched the people that were, under mind control, not the proto Delvin. I said
No,
perhaps
no,
maybe
they did.
for,
Remember, the end, they sing at them, and then the sound equipment breaks,
yeah.
and they go retreating, and on the bridge, somebody, it's probably that girl that I brought up on the board is new, says, how'd that happen? They couldn't hear them through their new thing. And Dr. Chiba turns and says, oh, it's because their hearts touched them.
Yeah,
Look,
whatever.
well, you can't just whatever Dr. Chiba. It's nonsense pseudoscience, but he literally made technology out of it that does stuff. So
I guess, but yeah,
the
I,
whole
I,
reason that I was trying to describe a couple episodes back, I did this in the notes, how much power might be in spiritua was the fact that I was trying to figure out Dr. Chiba's pseudoscience, like in the world. Like, how does singing create power or anything, right? What's the middle ground between you putting vocal vibrations into the air and it affecting other people? And that's why I came up with like the whole calorie system being equated to spiritua and then
by
spiritua to
the
sound.
way, I don't, how it would, if, if the fleet ever goes back to space, I guess they'll
Speaker
also have
pods.
to. Speaker pots is the only way they can.
Yeah,
So
that's what they were for.
all these accoutrements they put in the speakers don't work in space, right?
Arguably, that's probably they're setting the laser thing up for that.
Yeah.
The fact that the laser is now going to because we've seen Basara trying to shoot Grabble with speaker pods before, and they just bounce off. So now this whole laser thing with the Sound Force equipment kind of does that without the need for a medium. So they've
I
kind of
guess.
like I'm assuming we're going back to space, and this was the answer to that as well as something else. Um, but yeah, no, that was my point when I was coming up with the calories and everything like that. I was trying to figure out how is there a middle ground between all of this and this reach their hearts thing. It's just another form of confusing shit that I can't put into my mind of how it fucking works. Okay, here's the one that you're gonna like because it involves your favorite person. Why is Mephitis not terrified of the Proto-Devlin? The narrator tells us she is a full-blooded Centrati. By the way, thank God they didn't say Meltrati.
Meltron, yeah. Uh, I don't
Apparently,
know.
Meltrati is another word from Eltron as well.
Yeah, it's Meltron for female centrality and centrality for males. So
Well, I'm
it's
going to go
definitely
back and talk about how shit the wiki is from Macross again because the article's name is Meltrati and it says also known as Meltron. But yeah,
I I don't know. She's I hate to choose this because a lot of people there are people who say this and they kind of say it and they're not psychiatrists or psychologists, so they don't explain it. But I would say like, is she in the spectrum? Maybe I don't know.
she's
But I don't.
talked before.
She's talked before like
She's
twice.
displayed the same powers as Guvava, which is to be able
So
to identify Mylene's location without ever seeing where she's at. You remember that one
yeah.
time where Mylene got
Mm,
kidnapped, or not kidnapped,
yeah.
Mylene drove off the Alice Holiday, and they can't even see where she's at, and Buffetus is like, points which
Yeah.
way she's at. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say she's on the spectrum, because obviously the same thing you said, not therapists. Also, I'm not good at identifying that kind of shit either. But she's a full-blooded Centrati, and every Centrati we've seen, except for Mylene, I guess. Well, Mylene had, well, no. That was during my supposition that there might have been a Proto-Devlin on the planet, and that she was being a fear factor for something we didn't see yet. That turned out not to be true. But she's
Or
half
it could be.
Centrati, so
It
possibly.
could simply be that she's so concentrated on the music that helps her somehow becomes immune to it.
And we
But
did get a whole thing from Gamlin about how concentrated Basara is when he's piloting, so I guess we can apply that to Vafidus when she's apparently piloting with a drum set.
well, Roy, no Roy,
No, Ray,
Ray
remember
is the,
Ray? Do you not remember when they flipped over and ran into a
uh,
building? And Ray's like, no, don't pilot in that direction. So she is piloting with the drum set.
guess
I
so.
mean,
I thought it was.
they both have to be because remember when they get shot 2 episodes back and Ray's like, the engines are going out. I'm gonna have to crash land. Clearly, in that instance, Ray's taking control. Previous to that, we've got instances where Ray's like, no, don't do that, and implying that she's in control. So it's some sort of weird gypsy danger scenario.
Guess so.
So I had guessed that the dead bodies and the wrecks of Macross 5 were because maybe the Proto-Devlin didn't take Centrati, as the corpses were all Centrati. Well, the narrator in episode 30 says, in some fleets, both the military and civilians alike are made up entirely of Centrati. Macross 5 is one such fleet. So I would have to be wrong, as the dead bodies would just be whoever happened to die, and everyone else taken would be Zentradi as well. Also, the narrator says that Macross 5 was attacked and destroyed, where it seemed pretty clear that Macross 5 was abducted, as we have no wreckage of the city ships.
No,
So, unreliable narrator. Just another
true.
feather in the cap of the show. Uh,
Well, the narrator is Ray, so or at least Ray's voice actor, anyway.
I think it's more likely just his voice actor. I don't think it's Ray, because that wouldn't make much sense. Also, we'd then have to have the problem of who's Ray talking to. Because it can't be us, because that would imply Ray knows that he's in a show, which is
Or it's a sort of future, you know, it's a how can I say this? It's more like
a future retelling. Then Ray, why do
yeah,
you keep telling us the same parts over and over again? We've heard about, you know, the Zentradi being giants and turning into myclones 17 times now. You're not a very
yeah.
good storyteller, Ray. Probably why you're also not the singer of the band. Gabble indicates that the pilots we have been fighting in recent episodes are surviving samples from those destroyed on planet GGT, which now brings into the question in my mind of if we are experiencing more bad translation, like how Gepernick doesn't go by that name in the show anymore. I've just been keep calling them Gepernick. The subtitles of saying a different name all of a sudden. What I mean in this case is Macross 5 was being trailed by the AGT fleet, as we heard in a report to Lord Gepernick earlier in the season. Clearly, the Proto-Devlin have different names for planets, i.e., GGT being Planet Lux. So either Planet GGT has nothing to do with the AGT fleet, or AGT is now being translated to GGT. We know that latter. We know that the latter, when the pilot's emergency alert goes off, it identifies them as Macross 5 pilots. So, same place.
And they do, and they self-identify as Macross 5
Right, right. I just mean
pilots as
to
well. So
indicate that the previous translation of AGT fleet, what we saw was targeting Macross 5 in the past before they actually got attacked and when they were landing, uh, is now either nothing to do with the planet GGT, is a fleet associated with a different planet, and it's just AGT for some reason, or GGT is just what AGT was before, and the translation is just gone out of whack.
all possibilities.
I appreciate that Gamlin hypes up Basara's skill as a pilot, then later says he's just as good at piloting as Basara. I like it when the narration doesn't just jerk off the main character in an attempt to tell us how cool he is. Gamlin's put in a lot of work across the show, and he deserves to be recognized for it. I think Docker is in the show again to show that evolution of Gamlin's. Docker has some qualities that Gamlin never had, but in fights, he's very much how Gamlin used to be. When they find out the enemy pilots are from Across 5, he goes out of his way to tell Diamond Force to attempt disabling shots, even though they think it's impossible to do in the middle of the skirmish. Docker, on the other hand, just cares about ending the fight as quickly as possible, which is very much the Gamlin who gets in Basara's face when he's out there singing, "Get the fuck out of the way! We're trying to do work out here."
It's true, but at the same time, did Gamlin know at the time that those ships were from the pilots were from the reconnaissance fleet? I
No,
don't think he
that's
did.
what I'm saying. That's how
Yeah.
Gamlin used to be. Whereas Docker and Gamlin during the Macross 5 fleet attack thing both got the information at the same time. Gamlin goes out of his way to try and save people instead of just fighting the fight, whereas Docker, being our mirror to how Gamlin has evolved over time, is just like, we need to finish this fight as fast as possible. I don't care who fucking dies. If we don't kill them, we're putting City 7 in danger.
Yeah.
Gepernick has been getting odder these last few episodes. First, Gabble said something, and Gepernick smiled for the first time. Then he woke up Valgo, and they smiled wide enough to see their teeth. They're getting happier and happier every time we see them.
Yeah, something, their dream, awakening, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I don't know, because it's never about what their dreams are anymore. Although clearly they're doing shit off screen, because now they have more and more power to wake more people up. So assumably the farm is still going, but as to the previous comment that I made, when they introduced the pilots, they introduced them as the survivors, which doesn't bode well for anyone being used on a farm.
I mean, if they get drank to death, then no.
Well, we've never seen that before because they drain them to zero and they go into a coma. All right. Last one. I think the reason Giggle kept attacking Basara when he was singing to Sybil was because he fell back on his old habits. He's used to creating high levels of spiritua by instilling fear in people by attacking them. It's been his method since before he woke Sybil up. In his frustration, he lashed out and started being his old self again.
Okay, but when he hits him like 2 or 3 times and he doesn't crumble or seeks to show fear, it's like, well, this isn't working, I guess.
Yeah, but the point is that he's in frustration, and anyway, he's already not thinking straight.
Yeah.
It's hard to make
I
a
don't know.
logical debate against how a person's acting when the setup is they're not being logical.
I don't know. I just said that whole sequence was like, huh? Okay.
I'm just happy to see Basar get the shit beaten out of him.
I mean, true, but
Look, the dude who's been shown to be able to dodge everything decided to stand there and take it, and I was like, okay. I mean, even if I don't like the episode, it's got its merits. That's all I've got. You have anything else that you want to add before we get into this?
nope.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get on into this.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Another thing about having multiple openings. I know people are getting bored of my multiple openings conversation. Is that I'd have more things to talk about in multiple openings. Because every time I think about it, man, I got nothing to talk about during the opening, I go and stare at the opening for a bit and think, oh, here's like a minor thing that I didn't notice before. And I talk about it. We're 33 episodes in of me doing that. What is left? I guess technically we never saw that happen, right? They'd never been in the city with it on fire. Well, I guess that could be Macross 5. If the narrator's
No,
assertion
we
is...
haven't. We've seen them kiss the structure, but never with a flamethrower. I guess that's.
Well, yeah, it seems like utter destruction. And if the narrator is asserting that Macross 5 has been destroyed, it's either that or I also want to point out, I think I had this originally in my note before the realization that the pilots confirmed that they are from Macross 5, is that we did see Macross 1 during one of the openings. And we haven't seen it ever again.
We also saw the Mega Road as well, so.
Okay, I think you just destroyed me with that counter.
I mean, but what I'm trying to say, it's more like, this is the history of how we got here, as opposed to like this is happening.
Well, the problem with that is that they
or-
showed us Macross 5 when they showed us Macross 1.
Yeah.
And then Macross 5 showed up. So, I mean,
Yeah.
その激しい戦いの中で歌い続けてきたロックボーカリストがいる。その名は熱気バサラ。
Stealth Valkyrie,
Yeah,
Fire Valkyrie.
ひたすら敵の攻撃をかわしつつ、それどころか
Everything changed when the Fire Valkyrie attacked.
彼がなぜ歌うのかはともかく、プロトタビルンの守備
No one understands why. Because you haven't told us.
バサラをアニマスピ
You
リチュアル
could.
と呼んだ。
You have 30 episodes to tell us, and you haven't bothered. So of course nobody
衝
knows.
撃を受けたシビルはなぜか植物プラントの森の中で深い眠りに落ちてしまった。
And had her clothing ripped off as well.
To be fair, they haven't shown us anything. Like, they haven't even done, like, weird shots of her naked or anything. We've seen more of Milia at this point than we have
Yeah,
of Sybil.
true.
Well, it's like they didn't try taking it away again. Still standing out there. How much do you want to bet Gamlen's not going to get in trouble for breaking into the hangar to get him the Valkyrie?
Yeah, probably not.
バサラ
There's never lasting
ま
consequences.
た出かけんのか
I mean, he's working for the mayor, so I guess it would be the mayor with defending him
それじゃあ
from doing that, right?
Yeah, technically, I don't know what his position is in the military complex anymore.
だからなんつうのかなんで俺が歌を歌うのか考えてもみなかったんだけど
No, finally.
その答えが見つかりそうなんだうん多分そうなんだろうなそれを見てみたいんだ
そりゃ楽しみだな
ほんじゃ
You'll figure that the path to defeating Vasara was introspection.
Death, character death.
That's
An attempt at a character death. Like, maybe we
let's make
ask
the
if
character
he has-
think.
Yeah.
Also, the super high-tech thing that Dr. Chiba made. We just allow these people to walk out with it, and just requisition it willy-nilly. Basar did not hear Mylene walking behind him that closely.
夜の植物プラントで一体何をする気なのよ、バサラは。
Vegetation plant? I guess it's where they recycle the oxygen.
They called it that last time when the reporter was there, because the reporter asked him what you're doing in the vegetation plant all the time, before she also follows him.
どうしたのよ、クババ。
Literally, that's the least suspicious thing. An animal noise coming from the place. It's a
Yeah.
forest. Also, imagine getting called out dressed like this when every infiltrator dresses like this and they don't get called out.
グババったらいきなり暴れ出して見つかりそうになっちゃったじゃないの。私が戻ってきた
Why you were-
ここでおとな
Because
しくなってるのよ。
it discovered civil, I bet. Guvava.
Yeah. Yeah.
さっきのところわからなくなっちゃった。目印つけとけばよかったかな。
Follow the sound.
何この歌い方はいつもと違う。
Another desert reference in the lyrics. There's a lot of them.
Oh, there's your red hair. You know, the one from the intro?
Yeah, I mean... Look, I'm already on a win-win no matter what. I implied it was civil first, and then I implied it could be Mylene later. So... Unless it turns out to be neither of the girls, in which case then I lose. That's not a scene you were there for. Oh, never mind. You were with Gamlen. I forgot.
Yeah, she was. Yeah. What the hell?
That gray mud. Twice in a row.
グババどうしよう。私見ちゃったよ。
市長は今お休み中ですが、緊急のご用件でしょうか。
Oh, maybe, sort of. If I know about a thing that can rip through the entire City 7 and kill us all, is that an emergency? She's got to be on the verge of waking up. Her eyes have opened twice now.
Oh, he's in flight mode. Well, I guess she would be if, you know. Uh-oh.
Giggle's been up to it, I guess. That or these are the people that Civil drained back in the, No, never mind. I thought it'd be hilarious if the people Civil drained were still just sitting out here in the woods, never been
シティ
found.
ポリスからの報告によれば、今日も敵に襲われたと思われる市民が数十名。
敵はシティセブンに潜入したままということですね。
No shit! The infiltrators that we never found are still
空中の
here?
高速で移動する敵、通称 G3 がシティセブンに潜入したままであると仮定
Who
する
was
と
recording
大変な
this?
ことになります。早急に対策を
Whose
取らない
camera was right there in
そ
her
の件に
face?
関しては市長からも再三要望が出されている。
まず G3 の居場所を突き止めなくては。
そして捕獲するか。しかしどうやって？バルキリアも砕くやつだぞ。
艦長、お嬢様がいらしていますが、
こんな時間にか。
何か様子がおかしいようですが。
わかった。すまないが少しの間休憩にする。
That's a good father. He takes time to talk to his daughter.
Not so distraught, though, that she didn't clean herself up.
Oh, she had a coat, I guess.
No, her face was all muddy, and her skirt was muddy, too.
何かあったのかい？大丈夫か？ミレーヌ。
私見ちゃったの。
何を？
バサラが敵のすぐそばで。
敵の？
Oh.
Thank God we keep all of the important characters in one space.
それでバサラが
どうしたんだ？
歌ってたの。すぐそばで私つけてったから植物プラントの中で。
植物プラント。
いけないよね。私いけないよね。ねえ、どうしたらいいの？
Is Max gonna misinterpret?
わかった。心配しなくていい。あとは私に任せればいい。とにかく今日は帰りなさい。もう遅いから。
I feel like that's something this show would do. That Max is gonna think she means a love rival and saw Basara and Rex in the wars together.
No, I think it's Colonel Barton who's gonna mess it up.
Well, yeah, because Barton doesn't have the wherewithal to think that comedic way that it's a different thing. Clever. You clever son of a bitch. We're never gonna find you now.
シビル、絶対お前を目覚めさせてやるぜ。
Regardless of all the people you've killed.
Wow.
People live here? Never mind, it's probably her mansion.
Yeah.
Your car can fly. Oh, that's not even your mansion.
No, somebody's just random street.
So did they bomb her? Or did they like claw game her and that's just like the hole that it made?
Cloth hammer. Like, oh.
Well, we saw the jet flying out and it had this weird
yeah,
bug thing on top of it, and I assumed it was like a scout. But she's not there, so.
シビル、あいつは貴様、シビルをどこやった？帰 返しやがれ。何言ってやがんだ。やったのお前だろ。どこに運んだんだ。なんだと
What the
この野郎
fuck?
は。お前が運んだんだろ。貴様が連れ出したんだろうが。やったのお前だろ。シビルはどこにいる。教えやがれ、教えやがれ、教えやがれ。知りてえのは俺の方だ。
Hey, the last shot on the next time on.
ミレーヌ。
Yeah.
何やってんだこんなところで。
私がパパに言っちゃったから。
何。
ここのこと。
なんだって。それじゃ東郷軍が連れてったってのが。
わかんないけど、私
なんてことしてくれたんだ。だ
って。
Yeah, I told the authorities about the threat that's been ruining people's lives and killing people.
何しや
That's
がる。
fair.
ミレーヌに手を出すんじゃねえ。近づくな。こいつがどうなってもいいのが。ミレーヌはこのことに無関係なんだ。シビルはどこだ。こいつが殺されたくなかったらシビルのところへ連れて行け。
What's the matter, Basara? You're not singing at him. Okay, yeah, that's what it was. Looks like they turned a fold device into a containment cell.
ダメです。バリアに守られていて X 線、ガンマ線ほかあらゆるスキャニングが不可能です。
バリアを破壊したまえ。
しかし破壊の衝撃でもしも G3 が目覚めた場合どうなるか。
せっかく捕獲したのだ。敵を分析してこそ対応が取れるというものではないか。
しかしもし G3 が艦内で暴れ出したら。
全責任は私が。
You mean like she already was before?
はい。
Okay, guys, it's not like a full barrier at all.
エッキバサラ、これはどういうことなんだ。
ミレーヌが人質に取られてんだよ。
なんだって。
艦長、ブリッジイン。
敵は
速度23で本艦に接近中。
迎撃シフト、バルキリー隊発進。
艦長、ダイヤモンドホースからの連絡で敵は艦長のお嬢様を人質にしていると。
なんだって。
シビルはどこだ。多分この中のどこかにいるはずだ。シビルどこだ。
It's more annoying, you know, that Basara is working with him, not because he's taken Mylene captive. I want to see Gamlin with a sniper rifle try and take people out.
それ以上近づくと撃つぞ。シビル、何のことだ。
シビル、G3 のことか。
こいつがどうなってもいいのか。ミレーヌ。俺は気が見つけんだ。早くシビルを返せ。
ミレーヌさんを離せ。
人質を解放しておとなしく逃亡しろ。
状況は。
シビルを返せの一点張りだ。
シビル？
シビルを返しやがれ。こいつがどうなってもいいのか。
ミレーヌ。
艦長、人質の救出のためには G3 の引き渡しもやむを得ないかと。
いや、統合軍としては簡単に捕虜を渡すべきではないと。やっと敵の正体をつかめる手がかりができたのです。多少の犠牲は致し方ないかと。
Yeah, can I say that to Max?
何を言ってるのですか。目の前の市民を救えないで何が統合軍よ。
何をごちゃごちゃ言ってやがる。
人質の救出を優先すべきです。
ここで G3 を引き渡せば犠牲者は増えるばかりです。
さっさとしやがれ。
カモン、撃て。
やめろ。俺がヒンジか。
待て、今捕虜の場所を教える。
左の扉の向こうだ。
ここか。
He didn't even try to negotiate, by the way. I'll tell you where Sybil is if you let the captive go.
ゃねえ。ミレーヌを離すんだ。いや、まだだ。ここから完全に逃げ出すまではな。Power to the dream, power to the music. うるせえ、やめろ。
Ladies and gentlemen, your hostage negotiator has arrived.
Yeah, I'm gonna sing my way out of this.
Shit, guys, his heart's reaching him.
No instruments or nothing. I mean.
Yeah, that's been a running theme.
Yeah. I guess the setup automatically gives him, a backup band.
The same way that Mylene's backup singer is herself. We're gonna calm his hot heart with a Cool Island song. Next, remember, he had gathered enough power to wake her up, he said. Oh, so I can't shoot the guy, but this guy can just shoulder check him. That's fine. Okay. I'm gonna just let him get back in his machine, too. Okay, guys, we are part of the military, aren't we?
Damn.
Why?
Well, he put Malene in danger.
Malene was already in fucking danger.
Yeah, but he shot at her, so...
Yeah, he got a headshot, didn't he? That was the right move. Fuck off. Colonel Barton is in the right.
I mean, he acted on his own accord without, with information telling him, and didn't care about hostages. So
yeah. Oh God, I'm sorry. Are you defending that we should give away the ship level threat that can kill kill a million people? Yeah, he did not.
The situation when he did.
He's the only one taking action. You should be supporting Colonel Barton as the only people doing logical shit in this show. If there was 4 more Colonel Bartons in that room, Giggle would have been fucking dead. Also, everyone that you're currently supporting, let Basara go, even though he's been clearly aiding the enemy.
練習場に置いてあった。水をやってくれって書き置きと一緒に。
バサラは私のこと怒って、それで出て行っちゃったんだ。
そんなことはないさ。
でも、
あいつは自分のことで出かけたのさ。
Which are more important than literally everybody else's lives.
歌うのか。それを知りたがっていた。
だってバサラは。
いずれ戻ってくるさ。
Eventually.
See, if Basara had been like an amazing hero the whole show, this is how you like would end the series and like give him a space to come back in for like a sequel. He'll come back someday. God, I fucking hated this. Look, Colonel Barton is a hero. Colonel Barton is like, no, your daughter is important to you, but you know what else is important? Should be important to you? the millions of people on this ship that monster can kill just by flying through them. How about everybody that she's put into a coma and just left in the middle of nowhere? God knows if we found everybody yet that she put into a coma. If we have to let one little girl die in order to make sure that a million other people are safe, this is like one of those Spock equations, right? All I'm saying is Spock sacrificed one life to save a
Yeah, his
ship
own.
full of people.
Yeah, his own.
Yeah.
Not someone else's. There's a difference.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think it is. In
Not for
fact,
Sailor Rent, by the way.
Spock went out of his way to get everyone else out of the chamber so he could sacrifice himself.
I think he was doing that because he was setting up a false facade to allow him to get in there to do it. Because he knows that if there were people in the chamber, they would try to stop him. Look, Colonel Barton is trying to fucking save lives. Max was in... Oh, hold on.
歌がわからねえ敵よバサラ歌って俺は俺の歌を探してるんだ次回ギギルが歌った日空よ
Oh, fucking hell. Well, I guess there goes your... not there goes your... There's your proof of Giggle switching sides.
I mean, yeah.
Look, at least this episode gave us a point of debate. I mean, at least there's that. I'm clearly on Colonel Barton's side. As I said in my notes segment before about Colonel Barton taking the pragmatic viewpoint of everything and actually trying to do what the UN Spacey did back during Space War 1 and not some idealistic, I saw this in a movie once, like Max and Dr. Chiba and Ray seem to be up to. Which is very weird, because Max was fucking there. He knows what Min-May's effect on the war was.
Yeah, but I think he also has the idealized version of what happened because of his marriage to his marriage. Million. So like, oh, we can do peace and all that, and so
Yeah,
maybe he wants to recapture that. He wants to recapture that aspect.
You know what this is like? You're defending Batman for sending people to Arkham. How many extra chances do we give a person who keeps killing and hurting people? I want to remind you that these people are the same ones that we've seen in screens shooting little beam into windows, where we saw them hit a mother and a father, and not the baby. How long do you think it took that mother and father to be found in a coma? How long did that baby go without supervision or food, or God forbid the fact the mother who's holding the baby gets put into a coma? How far did they fall? We caused a woman to drop a baby. I'm just saying, how much leeway do we give them? How did Colonel Barton... My thought when Colonel Barton's looking down at Basara and talking about how bad a thing he did was before Gamlin punches him in the face was Colonel Barton should have 4 other guys with guns pointed at Basara right now to arrest him. He's aiding the enemy. I understand that the idea of Macross is that we come together and we live in peace and we don't fight one another. It's the Gundam sentiment, basically. If you kill somebody, everyone that loved that person now hates you and is going to try and get revenge. And when they kill you, everyone that loves you is going to try and get revenge. So we have to find a way to stop that. But you know what? No one's doing that either.
I mean, I'll grant you one thing. Again, if Basara was a more developed character, then yeah, it would make more sense not to side with Bart, because he would at least express the reasons why he's doing it. But he never does, right? He never says, "Hey, listen, I'm trying to end the war," and he's just like, "No, I'm just gonna say."
Well, I mean, Basara is not even. There's no way Basara comes out of this as the good guy in the show that we've gotten up until this point. Sybil has taken over people's bodies, right? That is so many different types of crimes, right? Because you know what I mean.
Body snatching, yeah.
And when she does that, then she forces the body she's in to commit crimes. She's done sexual assault with Rex and attempted it with Akiko. And then, gotta think, everybody that she's leaned in and sucked the breath out of was in the middle of what they thought was gonna be. So, and she leaves trails of bodies behind her. Again, negligence, because how many of those people might have died from being left face down in a puddle, you know? Or how many people she drained in the midst of falling into the sun. It was really hot that day. Not to mention all the people she rammed through when she destroyed all the carriers.
Mm-hmm.
She has killed a lot of people. She's a mass murderer, right?
Yeah, she is.
It's like the... I'm going to bring real world into this real quick. It's like when Boeing got out of its court dispute, and and people are like, but they're guilty of killing upwards of 386 people. And it's like, if one singular person killed 386 people, you wouldn't let them off with a plea, right? No. So, she's guilty of that. And we're like, no, it's cool, let her go. Because a little girl is in danger. Regardless of the fact that she could kill 1 million more people. Right? It's like if you had a guy with a nuclear bomb strapped to him, and he's like holding a girl hostage. Do you let the guy with the nuclear bomb just have free reign because one girl is in danger?
I mean, I think the nuclear bomb would be more...
Right, you shoot the bastard. If you have like a sniper with a shot, you say, take the shot. Right? You don't give a shit. You've got to take the nuke out.
Yeah.
She is a walking nuclear bomb.
But I think I think it's Barton went off, like, I'm just going to do this. I don't care. And didn't consult his commanding officer. So he went rogue. It's like, well, I'll take responsibility.
To be fair, he said it before it happened, too. He tells Max, it's worth it to take him out. We can't get rid of our captive because of one girl. He says that like over the radio before we even get into the hangar.
Oh, but he capturing several, right? And he's like, oh, just destroy the bear. He's like, if she wakes up, she could kill everybody. It doesn't matter. I'll take responsibility. Dude, you're not gonna survive her waking up and taking you out, right?
I'll give you that point because I'm not accounting for that in the end part. I'm counting the end part, which was what our debate seems to stem from. But I think his point of view is that we don't know that she'll wake up. Because the other guy is like, if she wakes up, and he's like, we'll break the barrier and we'll deal with that afterwards. Which, of course, is stupid. I'm not going to disagree on that point. We have nothing that can fight civil. So, lean back to the she's a walking nuclear bomb argument. So, yeah, Colonel Barton isn't a genius. I just think he's trying, which is, for 33 episodes now,
more than anybody else.
Well, I mean, Gamlin has been trying, but now he's been poisoned at the well of Basara. To the point that he's, like, punching people out that are also trying. Because Max doesn't say, stop, or no, you know? He says, we can't give up our one chance just because a girl is in danger. I don't recall Max saying, no, stop, don't do that. All that happens is Milia turns to Max and says, or she expresses some sort of displeasure. She didn't say it to the Colonel. She just runs off on her own. I thought we were going to see Milia show up in her Valkyrie to fight.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of disappointed that didn't happen. Like, look at my daughter, come running in, punch from the Valkyrie, drops Mylene. Milia catches Mylene, flies out, gets her to safety. That would have been the episode for fighting Mayor Milia.
But we didn't get that.
No, I'm just rewriting the show to make it better in my head. I'm just saying, we need more Colonel Bartons, less Basaras. Well, I know Basara's going to be like the way we win by the end of the show. Obviously. He wouldn't exist otherwise. Also, I don't think he would be winning polls if he wasn't, right? Certainly, people we're won over by Basara at some point in this. Because otherwise, I didn't bring it up before. I'll bring it up next time. But Basara has won 2 polls on the channel now, by the way. So,
Wow.
yeah. So clearly, he wins people over somehow, and it can't just be the music, right? I don't want this to be like a Michael Jackson scenario, where a singer can do something so horrible, but his music is just so good that we just let it go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something.
Or that or the other guy who pisses on underage girls. I can't remember who that was now, all of a sudden. But I just don't want that to be the scenario, that we love Basara because it has the best music in Macross. Apropos of this guy is a jackass.
Yeah.
Well, this has to have repercussions, right?
I mean, the ship got damaged, and they're gonna have to repair that. And
No, I mean,
Basara's went off, and now they don't have the sound force either. And
well,
the
now
jamming
Mylene was
work.
able to sort of do a little bit when
Yeah,
Basara
but
wasn't
it wasn't.
present.
But it wasn't enough.
I know. I just mean, also we have jamming birds or whatever the fuck they're called.
But they didn't work.
Right, but they still exist. We didn't see them like
Yeah.
get disbanded. Like Colonel Barton was like, we got to put them through boot camp, you know. So, assuming that he isn't getting fired, because I don't see how you let Basara heal the bad guy in secret and then let Colonel Barton in jail for trying his best. No, my indication was more word has to get out, right? That Basara did this with Civil. And that's got to affect his career.
Not that he cares, though.
Well, I mean, certainly not, but his bandmates do. Mylene's been all about climbing those charts. Ray and Vivitas go to every concert that they put out, so the fact that their fans are going to find out, oh, the bad guy who's been, like, hurting everybody that I love and has killed a number of people, the guy I've been idolizing has actually been healing them?
Supporting.
Yeah. That can't be good. Certainly not going to be a positive, but again, if this is a Michael Jackson scenario, then there's going to be defenders.
I mean, true.
I don't know. When did this come out? 90s?
Yeah.
Did we know about Michael Jackson in the 90s?
There was always rumors.
Right. I don't know of any other like big musical stars that had like that kind of thing going on about them that people like ignored. Like, I mean, there's always that Elvis, like, you know, he's ripping off a whole culture thing that nobody actually cared about, but I think that's more of time.
He also married a 14-year-old, so there's that.
Yeah.
Technically legal, and I'll leave it at that.
Well, I think it was more so that they got arranged then. Didn't they? Did he marry her when she was 14, or did he marry her when she was actually legal age?
No, he married when she was 14, which was legal in the state in which he was in, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's the thing then. That would be more topical for the time. Even though, I don't know, Michael Jackson's closer to the 90s, it's just in the future. Price is Right rules, I guess. Closest without going over. That's what Elvis worked with, apparently. Well, I don't know. I understand we gotta wrap up here. This is the episode I feel the strongest about at the moment because it's so much. I know I didn't like bring much into it with all the episodes before, with him singing to Sybil, like how can he do this, blah 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 blah. Because at the time it was more of a, well, maybe it's a love thing. Maybe maybe when she wakes up we'll understand what the kiss meant, if there was some sort of transfer or something. But now it's become like literally like a political thing, and we have the military officers like fighting one another about it, and there's a lot going on. So maybe I'll just bring that up whenever I do my notes again, because there's so much to read into everything.
Yep.
All right. Well, once again, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?